happy Valentine's Day today, February 14th. Often a day associated with partnerships and relationships of all kind. And today we're going to be focusing on the relationship with ourself. So this is a yoga class for self-care and self-love. I'm Serena Gedolina, and this is a subject that's really close to my heart, and that I continue to work with and learn from. And it's something that we can cultivate on a daily basis at all times, every day we're working on loving ourselves. And I'd like to say that self-love isn't narcissism. Self-love and self-care is not, it's not something that is shallow. Real and true self-love comes from a very deep place, a place that we often don't connect to. And, going and getting pedicures and hanging out with friends and taking a bath is all part of self-care exercises, but it's not quite self-love. So we're going to touch into that today. And we'll begin by connecting to ourselves. So if you have any sort of blanket or bolster, something to prop yourself up with, today's class we're going to focus on ways that we can hug our energy in and really bring a soothing to ourselves and nurturing to ourselves. So you'll want some sort of blanket handy. And also a couple blocks if you have them, or anything to prop yourself up with. If you don't have any of those things, that's also fine. So we'll begin in child's pose. You can bring your knees wide, and if you have a bolster and a blanket, then go ahead and place the bolster in between your thighs and your legs. Fold the blanket so that it's going to act as a pillow. And everybody's body will be different here depending on your length, so adjust it. But what I'd like is for you to be able to set yourself down on top of the bolster and on top of the blanket so that you're resting in child's pose. So get comfortable here. And this is the moment where we begin to let everything in our day be outside of us. We begin to draw our attention into our mats, onto our mats, and into our bodies. Our body is something that we judge rather harshly and rather frequently. And in today's class, we're learning how to cultivate acceptance of the body, non-judgment of the body, cultivating an appreciation for this vessel that holds you, that is the face of how you interact with the world. So we greet our bodies here. We begin to bring attention to it. And what's fascinating about the body is we're the ones that take care of it, and it takes care of us in return. So getting a sense of how it feels today, where it feels tight or loose, just finding how your body is speaking to you. And then connecting into the breath, moving inside the body. So you have these props here that you can soften on. You can give the weight of the body into. And this softening in the body creates more space for the breath to move. And when we have more space for the breath to move, we have more line of communication. So we'll set our intent for today. And the intent is to be on the same team with your body, to be on the same team with your spirit. Coming and being in this present moment, laying down judgments of my hips are too wide, or my belly is too fat, or I'm not smart enough. All of these things, we're putting these off to the side, and today we're saying, I'm enough. I'm here, I'm showing up, and I'm enough. And we'll keep working with this theme as we move through practice today. So holding that intention, on the inhale, lifting up and moving the bolster and the blanket off to the side now. Staying with your breath. And on the inhale, lifting the right arm up, placing the left hand on the ground, and exhaling, shifting over into a side bend. Inhale, coming up, shifting the right hand down, the left arm up, and exhaling over into a side bend to the right. And move in this way on your own breath, at your own pace. So this is that cultivating relationship part. I can tell you and cue your breath and cue your movement, but you ultimately are the one who knows how you feel inside. So listen to what your body says. Really tune in. This is the advanced version of the pose, is to do what your body says. So moving one more side bend. And on the inhale, coming back up to center, placing the fingertips behind the hips on an exhale, and then inhale, lifting up in the chest. Exhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together and opening the heart. Really gently. Letting the breath continue to move, keeping awareness inside. Inhale, coming up, and then exhale, hands forward, back into child's pose. Inhale, coming up onto all fours. We'll move through cat and cow here. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders. Knees are directly underneath the hips. As you inhale, soften the belly and the hips. Open the chest and open the throat. And then exhale, curl the hips under. Pull low belly in. Arch in the upper back and let the head hang into cat. Inhale, opening the chest, softening the belly, moving the hips, opening the throat. And exhale, drawing the hips and pelvis in, the low belly in, arching in the upper back, pressing the hands in the ground. And again, moving at your own pace with your breath and with your body. And if you want to draw circles with the hips, you can do that here. But we're warming up the spine. Keep moving here. We're warming up this central channel of energy. And getting to know our bodies and really tuning in can be scary sometimes, especially if we're not used to it. Especially if we have those things in our heads that say, oh, I don't like this part of my body. But bring little by little that acceptance. It's your baby. Take care of it. So coming to a neutral position now. And on the next inhale, drawing the right arm up toward the ceiling, opening the chest, and then on the exhale, threading the right hand through so you're resting on your shoulder. Left hand reaches up and can either rest on your sacrum or can wrap around to the outside hip. Inhale, lengthen in the chest just slightly, and as you exhale, open the left shoulder. Inhale, reaching back up with the left hand, coming back around, and exhale back into tabletop. And then inhale, lifting the left arm up, opening, and exhale, weaving through. The left arm rests on the floor. The right hand can be placed on the sacrum or wrapping around to the hip here. So at the same time that you're softening, you're also lengthening and opening the right shoulder. Stay with the breath. And then inhaling, lifting the right arm back up, coming around. Exhale back into tabletop. Inhale, press the hands into the ground, and exhale, drawing back into child's pose once more. Then coming forward, walk the hands forward just slightly, and as you exhale, dropping the hips forward, opening the chest into a baby upward dog. Exhale back into child's pose, and inhale, moving forward into upward dog. And you can go as low or stay as high as you like. Move here at your own pace. And maybe you'd like to take these arches in the back of the cat. See what feels good. Play with it. Self-love is also about play, about finding ways to enjoy life, awakening joy inside yourself. So moving in a way that feels good. And then inhale, come back to center. And then we'll turn over. So you're sitting on your sit bones. Feet are on the ground, and then lay down on your back. Feet come wide apart, and then just rock the hips back and forth. Just a minute here. And then bring the feet hip distance apart, and place the hands right where the pelvis and the abdominals meet. Close your eyes here and find your breath again. And then see if you can begin to deepen the breath so that the breath is going into the hands. So we'll use our hands a lot in today's class to bring a sensation to our bodies. Touch is such a powerful element of self-care and self-love and attention. And it's often something that we seek from other people, whether we're hugging them or holding hands or kissing our partner, even high-fiving our friends. So we're bringing attention and building intimacy with ourselves in a very nurturing way. So seeing and feeling the breath move into the hands. And then we'll begin waking up these lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra. So on the next exhale, you'll gently squeeze in the pelvic floor. And inhale, release. Exhale, gently squeeze in the pelvic floor. And it's like you have to go to the bathroom and you're holding it. So you're not squeezing for dear life. It's just a really gentle and interior squeeze. You're activating in there. And you can begin tilting in the pelvis too. So as you inhale, the belly rises, there's a curve in the back, and then as you exhale, press the low back into the ground and curl the pelvis up. Inhale, relax, and exhale, curl. In these chakras, these root chakras, sacral chakra, lies the power of stability, where we gain our security from. And this is vital to self-care, because if we don't feel safe within ourselves, there's no way that we can give anything to anyone. We'll constantly be looking for something outside of us to make us feel safe. So we're cultivating security and stability within ourselves. And then release this movement. Go ahead and grab a block and place a block in between the thighs. So you want it long ways here so that as much of your thigh, the inside of the thigh, the adductors, is touching the block as possible. Your feet can remain on the ground. They can come off the ground and the knees can be bent. Or you can straighten the feet so they're facing up toward the ceiling. Clasp your hands, and whichever way you normally clasp your hands, change the clasp. So just switch the fingers. And what this helps us do is cultivate new relationships, like get out of habits that we're stuck in. And that's a big thing with self-care and self-love, is we're getting out of these negative thought patterns and negative self-habits that we have and cultivating new, loving, and positive ones. So we'll continue to work our container and we'll begin to engage in our abdominals a little more now. So on the inhale, lift the shoulders up, and as you exhale, squeeze the block and reach the elbows toward the left thigh. Pull low belly down and send the feet up away from you. Inhale back to center, keep the shoulders off the ground. Exhale, squeeze the block, reach the elbows to the right thigh and pull low belly in. Reach the feet up high. Inhale back to center. We're moving really slow. Stay with me. Exhale, squeeze the block. Reach the elbows up towards center this time and pull low belly in. Inhale back to center. Exhale, squeeze the block. Reach the elbows to the left. Pull low belly in and engage in the pelvis, how we did when we were doing the pelvic tilts. Inhale back to center. Release. And then exhale, squeeze the block, reach the elbows to the right, pull low belly in and engage in the pelvic floor. Reach the feet up. Inhale back to center. This is our last one. Exhale, squeeze the block, lift the shoulders up toward the ceiling, feet high up toward the ceiling, pull low belly in. And then inhale, release. Bring the shoulders all the way down. Feet come all the way down. And remove the block. And then finding your hands directly on navel center. And see what kind of energy you generated here. Breathing big into your hands now. But letting the breath come naturally. So if it's shallow, let it be shallow. Notice. You get to be an investigator, a scientist in your own body. And then take the feet wide, rock the knees back and forth once more. Stay with your breath. And this area here, the belly, this is our power center. Bringing the feet back underneath the hip distance apart, and take 3 deep breaths into your power center. This is where we practice radical honesty with ourselves. We've set our container, our safety net. And now that we know that we are stable, we can begin to uncover, who are we? What are the desires I want? What is this power inside of me? So staying with that idea, and then rolling over, back onto all fours. We're moving up, continuing to move up. We'll begin to strengthen the chest, bringing the forearms down onto the ground. So take your hands, place them on the upper biceps. This is your measuring, how you want to measure. And bring your hands either straight down onto the ground, so it's one straight line from the middle finger, wrist to elbow, or clasp your hands in front. We'll prepare for dolphin pose. Curl the toes under, inhale, lift up out of the shoulders, and as you exhale, send the hips up toward the sky. This is our first dolphin, so we're straightening one leg and bending the other knee. And rotating here on your breath. Doing what feels good for your body. And it may be that what feels good is your knees are really bent and you're just really stretching out the back here. Protect your hamstrings. But do what feels good. And eventually, you'll come to a resting point. As you inhale, press the forearms into the ground, lift up and turn the chest on. And as you exhale, reach the hips up high toward the sky.
Feel your legs engaging and active, turning on. Keep the breath moving. Turn the chest on. One more deep breath here. And then exhale, coming down onto the knees, coming back into child's pose. Inhale, lifting up, so you're sitting on your heels. And take the hands to heart center. Take 3 deep breaths in your heart center. And feel how there's power in there. We're turning our bodies on bit by bit. This is self-care. We're tuning into the energetic and the physical. And we're listening, so we're tuning into the spiritual aspect as well. And when I say spiritual, I mean the spirit that lives inside of you and animates you, the sparkle in your eye. So releasing the hands and then just taking your right hand to the right breastplate. Take a big breath into the right hand. And as you exhale, gently pull away on the right side. So you're making a stretch, and then take 3 deep breaths into the right breastplate. Being tender with this area. Bringing what they say in yoga is metta, loving kindness. Not pushing, but being so tender with your heart. With the place of you that's vulnerable. Releasing the right hand and then placing the left hand on the left breastplate. Inhale into the left hand. And as you exhale, gently pull the left muscle and tissue away, just really tenderly. And breathe into that spot. Almost all of us have been through some sort of pain, some sort of broken heart. We look to others in external relationships to fulfill us and give us love, and there's nothing wrong with connecting to others, but if we haven't connected in ourselves to that place within us, then there's no way that we can truly, purely connect to somebody else. So give breath and energy to this space. And then release the left hand. Coming back into tabletop, the hands come a little further forward, curl the toes under, and this time coming into downward dog, hips come up high. Spreading the fingers, inhale, press the hands into the ground, and as you exhale, reach the shoulders away from the ears and hug the elbows in toward one another. We'll just stay here for a couple breaths. Lengthen in the low back, turn the legs on. And then as you inhale, walk forward, keeping the knees bent. We'll take a forward fold and hugging the arms behind the legs. The chest comes to rest on top of the thighs here. And you can move here as well, maybe a rocking sensation. And then engage in the abdominals. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, come into mountain pose, Tadasana. We'll move through a round of sun salutations, get the blood moving. Feet directly underneath the hips. Find balance between the balls of the feet, the heels of the feet. Turn the legs on. Engage in the pelvis, how we did when we were on our backs. Engage in the abdominals. Lift and open the chest. On the inhale, raise the arms all the way up. Palms touching. Exhale, bring the palms towards center, through the heart, all the way down. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. And exhale, bring the left leg back and down for a high lunge. Low lunge. Arms come all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands down. And on the inhale, moving into tabletop or high plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Root the pelvis into the mat. On the inhale, lift the chest up. Open the throat. And then exhale, lower down. Moving back through either downward dog or child's pose, either way. Inhale, coming forward for low lunge. Left leg forward, arms come all the way up. And exhale, hands down on either side, back foot comes forward, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen up. Hands come to touch at the top, and exhale, hands at heart center. We'll move through the other side. Inhale, arms up. Whole body is active and lengthening. Exhale, palms come through the heart center all the way down. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold forward, look inside. And then inhale, right leg back, right knee down, low lunge. Arms come all the way up, opening. And exhale, hands down. Inhale into tabletop or high plank, either way. And then exhale, lower the body all the way to the ground. Inhale, lengthen halfway for cobra. Spread the collarbones, open the throat. Support the body with the pelvis and the feet. And exhale, lower down. Come back into downward dog or child's pose. Inhale, lunge with the right leg forward. Arms come up. And then exhale, hands down on either side. Back foot comes forward, forward fold. Hug the knees in. Inhale, lifting up from the navel center, arms up, palms touch. And exhale, hands at heart center. We'll move through a standing series here. We're gaining ground. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Palms at heart center. Come all the way through, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. And on the exhale, coming back into warrior two position. Left leg back first. So your front foot is pointed forward. Back heel matches up with back arch. As you bend on the exhale, your front knee lines directly up over the front ankle. Arms come out, palms facing down. Close your eyes here if you have balance. And let's connect into the pelvis again. So engage here, lift up in the pelvis. Press the feet into the ground and turn the thighs on. Reach back with the back heel. Relax the shoulders, open the heart, and pull low belly in. So here you are, solid. Courageous. What is a warrior? A warrior is courageous. And it doesn't mean fighting. So if you're in this position and you're tensing and fighting, soften a little. Cultivate a peaceful relationship with the body and not one of violence. We call this ahimsa, non-violence in yoga. Inhale, reach back, and on the exhale, bring the left hand to the thigh, the hip, or the shin, and open the chest for reverse warrior. Inhale, coming back up, and exhale back into reverse warrior. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale back into reverse warrior. Inhale, coming back up. And this time, exhale, straighten the front leg, shift the hips back, and reach the right arm down toward the ground. We're coming into triangle pose. Your right hand can be on a block, if that feels good, on any level. Here, it can open. Press the feet, the ball and the heel of the foot into the ground. Lift up in the hips, and then elongate the torso so it's directly over the front leg. And then bend the front knee just slightly. Inhale, lift all the way up, and we're coming into reverse triangle this time. Let the left hand glide down the body, opening the side of the right side of the torso and chest. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, moving down into triangle. And use your hands here as a point of contact. So again, here we are, cultivating a touch relationship with ourselves that has nothing to do with any sort of sexuality, although it could if that feels good. But we're just learning to care for our body and bringing it touch and attention. So moving at your own pace with your own breath. We'll do one more. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, back. And then inhale, coming all the way up. Finding your warrior two once more. Inhale, arms come up, and as you exhale, turning the back feet. So the left heel is reaching out away from you and toes are down on the ground. This is a high lunge. Inhale, bring the hands to the chest and open the heart here. So we're continuing again to be brave, to look inside, close your eyes and say, who am I? Squeeze the inner thighs together, engage in the abdominals, lift up, and we're going to go flying into Warrior 3 from here. On the inhale, shifting the weight forward, lifting the back leg up into Warrior 3 on the exhale. Hands remain on the heart so that you can open. And this is where we're melting away these blocks that we have, these things that keep us from engaging with life in a meaningful way or going after our dreams. Open up to those. Be fearless, courageous. And then bending the front knee, exhale back into the high lunge. Arms come all the way up, palms touching. And then exhale, bring the hands down, bend the back knee. Moving into a twisting low lunge. Inhale, reach the right elbow up, and then exhale, open. We'll be here just a moment. And then exhale, coming down. Both hands on the ground. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Releasing in the hips. And then exhale into Ardha Hanumanasana, straightening the front knee and bowing to yourself here. You might need to move the back knee back just a little bit. Your front toes can stay on the floor or they can rock up. But find a way to come inside and give yourself some love. That saying of being on the same team. Is your hamstring calling out to you? Bend the front knee a little bit. Maybe your mind is saying, this is stupid. Let it say that and then say, why? Why is this stupid? Let's talk about it. Your mind isn't your enemy and neither is your body. Inhale, coming forward. We're moving into lounge lizard now. The left hand comes about 12 inches diagonally from the right foot. Inhale, lengthen in the torso, so you're coming away from the hips. And on the exhale, shifting the left hip toward the ground so it's hovering over the ground and hugging the right thigh in toward the body. So here we are hugging ourselves, giving ourselves love and compassion. Sometimes that's all we need is a hug. Think of how when you go to a friend and a friend says, let me give you a hug, and you think, oh, nothing's wrong, and then you hug them and just everything releases. Let the body release as you hug. And then inhale, coming out. On the exhale, bringing the right knee back into tabletop and all the way back into child's pose. Then inhale, lifting up, standing up on the high knees here. Hands come behind at the hips so that the fingers are above the sacrum. You're supporting here. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Inhale, lift up in the chest. And as you exhale, open into camel pose, into a back bend. The hands can remain here, or you can bring the hands down to the ankles. But look for an arch so that as your heart opens, that it's supported and that you're not dumping. You want the abdominals supporting you, our container supporting us, so we don't overextend. This is our boundary center, and then this is how we open in a meaningful way. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, coming forward, and exhale into downward dog or child's pose. We'll move to the other side. On the inhale, the left leg comes forward. I'm just going to turn around so you guys can see me. Into Warrior 2. So front foot faces forward, front heel matches up with back arch. Arms come up, palms facing down. Front knee is directly over front ankle. Engage in the pelvic floor, lift up in the abdominals. Open the heart and chest. Soften the shoulders. You can close your eyes and find your balance. Find your strength, your inner peace. And then we'll begin to move in reverse warrior. As you exhale, you're reaching out, inhaling, and then exhaling into the reverse warrior. Right hand can be on the hip, the thigh, or the shin as the left arm opens. And then inhale, coming up. Exhale into reverse warrior. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, coming up. One more. Exhale. Inhale, come up, and this time as you exhale, straighten the front leg, shift the hips back, and moving into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Left arm is either on a block or on the inside of the shin. Right arm reaches up, and the torso is engaged in this whole line here. You're knitting the rib cage together, making a line, that central channel of energy and strength, opening. And bending the front leg just slightly, inhale, coming up, and then exhale into reverse triangle. And then moving the hands along the body here so that this is saying, hey, I support you. Hey, I know you. I'm getting to know you. What do you feel like? What does it look like to touch and get to know your body in a way that isn't judgmental? Think about that. Think about that possibility. Because most of the time, we're looking at it and wondering how we can change it. So there's nothing that you want to change right now. But we're accepting what is. And then inhaling back up to center. Exhaling into the warrior two. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale into high lunge. Bringing the hands to heart center. Inhale and open into the heart. Right in the center, building up our courage, thinking of who are we and what do we want in life? What do I want to open to? And as we build, we're going to fly into that. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, reach the right leg back out behind you. Keep that connection with heart center so that you don't lose your goal. Engage in your navel center and reach back with the right leg. Think of something that's really appealing to you. Maybe it's just like nothing materialistic, but like, would you like to laugh today? Or would you like to smile? Or maybe you would just like to feel some peace. Open up to that. And then bending the front knee. Exhale, coming all the way down. Arms come up, palms touching. Inhale, and exhale down into a low lunge. Right leg on the ground. Inhale, reaching the left elbow up, and exhale, opening into a twist just for a breath here. Then inhaling back to center. Lengthen forward. So releasing in the hips slightly. And then exhaling into Ardha Hanumanasana. We're bowing toward ourselves. And we're bowing toward all of ourselves, to the hurt, to the mistakes, to the successes, to the positive qualities, to the loving qualities of ourselves. We're bowing to every single part of it, loving and accepting every bit. We're trying to. That's what we're cultivating. One more breath here, really tuning into the body. What does it want? Releasing the hips back away from you, pressing the front foot into the ground. And then inhale, coming forward, moving into lounge lizard. The right hand comes 12 inches away from the left foot. Hook the left hand on the front shin. Inhale, come forward, and as you exhale, the right hip shifts toward the ground and hug the left knee in. So I'll shift around so y'all can see me. And again, here we are offering compassion, karuna, to ourselves. And thinking of how you would hug a friend or a pet or any loved one. Bring that element of compassion to your practice right now. One more breath here. And then inhale, coming out, exhale, bringing the back leg forward, moving into child's pose. Inhale, lifting up, bringing the hands back to the back to support. We're moving into camel pose. As you lift open in the chest, broaden across the shoulders and collarbones, and exhale into the back bend. Squeeze the thighs together, engage in the pelvic floor and in the abdomen as you open and lengthen. And again, here you can bring the hands down to the heels. You can drop the throat a little open if that feels good. So we're communicating all these lines here in the chakras. Integrating. Then inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands down. Bring the hands forward. Inhale, curl the toes under. And exhale back into downward dog or child's pose. Find some length in the low back. Turn the legs on if you're in downward dog. Really reach the chest toward the thighs. And then inhale, look forward. And step all the way forward. Exhale into forward fold, bending the knees, giving a hug here. Inhale, lifting from the center. Hands all the way up, touching at the top. And exhale, palms at heart center. Then coming to sit on the mat. We'll move into a version of Janu Shirshasana. So right leg is straight, left knee is bent, either so the foot is at the inside at the groin or back behind by the buttocks. Right hand comes onto the ground. Inhale, reach the left arm up. As you exhale, lengthen out to the side into a side bend. Imagine the breath moving through the body in a gentle way, just like a breeze, making space. Relaxing the head, lengthening forward. And inhale, rising up just slightly, turning the chest so it's facing the right leg. Both hands on either side of the right leg, and then exhale, shifting forward slightly. Pause just about halfway. Engage in the leg, engage in the hands. Inhale, lengthen forward. And then exhale, come down towards the leg. Now stop wherever your body tells you. Have your block handy, and you can use the block to set your head on, if that feels good. But the breath is the mechanism to make space. And as you make space in the body, make space in your heart. To lengthen the heart forward. We're connecting the base to heart center. Our stability, our foundation, to our dreams and our desires. To our ability to love. So bowing forward. And then inhaling, coming up, bending the right knee and shifting the left foot so that it's underneath the right sit bone. We'll come into Matsyendrasana, which is a twisting pose. So right foot comes to rest either in front of the left shin or hooks around the left knee. Right arm reaches behind. Inhale, lengthen up. And on the exhale, hug the right knee in. And then place the right hand over the left forearm and just rock gently back and forth. Close the eyes. And bringing such tenderness to that as you would a baby. Rock yourself in this way. And then bringing the right hand back behind you, inhale a little more, lengthen up, and then exhale into the twist. Maybe you go deeper. Maybe you hook the left elbow over and hug the body in that way. Maybe you stay right here where it's hooked on the outside. What will nourish you? Do that. Inhale, untwisting. And then coming into a modified version of Gomukhasana. So bringing the right foot a little out away from the leg. And depending on your flexibility here, there's a few options that we can play with. So one is bringing the left foot all the way back to the outside of the right thigh so that the feet are parallel with one another and knees are stacked. That doesn't work for everyone. You can also use a blanket underneath the knees if that feels good. You can also take the feet away from the sit bones. So sometimes you can get a little more space that way. Otherwise, just bring the knees to the chest. What I really want to focus on for this pose in this particular instance is what we'll do with our arms. So the right is crossed over the left. And we're going to do the same action in the opposite manner with our arms. So crossing the left arm to the right shoulder, and then the right hand comes underneath. So we're giving ourselves a hug. And I know that that can sound so cliche and so silly, but really go inside and do it. Open your heart to giving yourself nourishment and compassion and love. Bringing this element of loving kindness to ourselves. Because we give so much to everybody else already. Hug that in. Take one more deep breath here. And then begin to slowly remove the arms. We'll come into one last version of a stretch here, Agni Stambhasana. And this is a variation you can do either with the left foot by the sit bones here and the right foot resting on top of the left knee, or just inside where the calf and the thigh meet. You can also come into cross-legged pose here. So your feet are stacked underneath the knees like this, or you can also place the right foot in front of the left knee so that you're making almost a right angle here. So whatever version you're working with, you can also use props underneath the knees. Whatever version you're working with, use your hands for support on the outside. Inhale, lengthen, engage in the abdominals, send the sit bones down away from you, and then as you exhale, come into a forward fold. So we're really stretching the hips out here. You can use your block to rest the forehead on. And begin to soften again. There is so much emotion in our hips. So much hidden away there. Bring your breath and attention to where it feels tight. And if there's fear there, acknowledge the fear and breathe into it. If there's anger there, acknowledge the anger. We can't really love ourselves fully unless we acknowledge these parts that we tuck away and we hide away. And there's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with you. Let the breath move them out of the body. Be here for one more breath. And then inhale, lifting up. Removing the right knee. I have to cough. Excuse me. Straightening the left leg. And either the right foot is at the groin or back behind by the buttocks. We'll come into our modified Janu Shirshasana. Right hand is on the ground. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And then exhale into the side stretch. Open the chest. Roll open in the right shoulder. And let the breath move to make space. What is the possibility? How far could you stretch? As you inhale, lengthen, and exhale, soften. On the next inhale, begin to lift up just a little bit, and then exhale, shifting so the chest is over the left leg, hands on either side. Inhale, lengthen forward, and then exhale, begin to bring the heart down toward the leg. And again, so we're connecting this place of longing, this place of wanting to be understood and loved. And we're connecting this with our ability to create and be secure in the world, to stand on our own 2 feet, to give ourselves that recognition, that validation. Bowing into that. One more breath here. And then inhale, coming up, bending the front knee, and taking the back foot around so that the right foot is underneath the left sit bone. The left foot comes either in front of the right shin or hooks around the top of the thigh. Left hand comes behind you, and inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, draw the thigh in. So you're hooking the right elbow around the front of the left thigh, and then the left hand comes to rest on the forearm, and then rock back and forth. Soothing the body. And maybe even apologizing a little bit. I'm sorry for calling you stupid. I'm sorry for calling you fat. I'm sorry for these infractions, but I love you. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale deeper into the twist. Maybe your arm stays exactly where it is, or maybe you hook the right elbow over on the inside of the thigh. This is bringing you food in a way that no bread or water ever could. That's what self-care is. Bringing yourself sustenance, something that truly lasts. And then inhaling, release, moving into our Gomukhasana. So take your version, stacking the knees, moving the feet where it feels good, setting up your props. The left is hooked over the right, and this time the right arm reaches around, it's going to go on the top, left arm reaches underneath. We're balancing out. And then hug yourself. Reach the hands back around to the shoulders. Maybe they're just here. That's okay too. Embrace all of it. Everybody is different. And oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so boring if everyone was the same? And wouldn't it be so boring if you actually were perfect? You're perfect in all your imperfections. That's what humanity is. We're human. I marvel at that. Breathe into that. Open up to that. And then inhale, releasing. Exhale the hands down on either side, moving into your version of Agni Stambhasana. Either stacking the feet and legs like this in front of each other, or coming into the cross-legged position. Have your block handy if that feels good for you to rest your forehead upon. Inhale, hands on either side, finding support, lengthen and root the sit bones down, and then exhale, fold forward. Move slow. Just like you're courting yourself, you're on a date. Except for this date, there's radical honesty. This date, we're pulling up all those things that we normally wouldn't say on the first date. But you know what? You've been with your body for several years now. There's no more playing games. There's no need to. fold in to everything that you are. Breathe into it and let it move. Because all these things, all these emotions that are moving through you and stuck in you, they're actually not you. At your essence, you are love. We are love. We are joy. And these other things, they move through us as we find synchronicity with the breath. Inhale, coming up. And releasing the cross of the legs. Coming to face the short edge of the mat. Legs are straight. Reach out with the heels. Spread the toes. Inhale, lengthen up. And then exhale, begin to walk forward, Paschimottanasana. Stop halfway, re-engage. Inhale, lengthen a little more. Torso elongates away from the hips. And exhale, fold into yourself. You can use a blanket to sit on, to prop your hips up. If that feels better, you can bend the knees a little. You can even place the arms underneath to hug yourself. But let go of the fight. There's no honor in fighting your true nature. Inhale, lengthening up, and then preparing for a heart bridge before our final Shavasana. There's a few ways to do this. You can use a bolster, and you can prop the bolster up with 2 blocks, one on the low level and the other on the high, like this. So you can use that as a bolster, as a support. You can also just use a blanket and a block. If that's all you have, you'd roll the blanket up, place it here, and use this block so that your neck is supported, like this. Or you can also use 2 blocks. So take what's going to feel good for you, or what you have available. And if none of those are available to you, then lie down, flat. So you want if you're working with a block or a blanket, you want it to be in between the shoulder blades and midway along the back. Palms face up, let the shoulders relax. And open the throat slightly. The legs can be out long, or they can be with soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. Bring the hands to heart center one more time. This is where the seed of love lives. And in this pose, this supported bridge, we're bringing awareness not only to the front of the heart and chest, but to the back as well. And whereas the front of the chest is and heart is where we carry grief, sorrow, grievances from others, maybe failed relationships, maybe disappointments with work or goals. But the back is where we carry those grievances with ourselves. So we're supporting the back of the heart. And you can call those things to mind, and then you can say, it's okay. Everything that has happened, here you are. You are a peaceful warrior. You are brave. You can love. Softening and opening to that possibility, to that idea. Being gentle and recognizing that here there's nothing more for you to do but release. Letting the past move underneath you and opening to the present. And then rolling onto your side just slightly so you can remove the blanket, the block, any of the bolsters. And we'll come into Shavasana. So here it might feel good to draw the knees into the chest for one last hug. Rock on the back. And then let the legs open. You can use a bolster under the knees if that feels good. A blanket underneath the head. This isn't about what the body needs now. Now it's about what might feel good. What could I do for my body that I could show it that I love it? You might cover up with a blanket. And becoming aware of the whole body again. Coming back to our intention of being on the same team. And imagining here, as your body softens, bring to mind a time when you felt truly loved. It could have been by a parent, by a partner, by a dog. It could have been in a moment with a stranger. Any moment where you felt truly loved and seen by another person or another living being. Breathe that feeling in. Let it wash over the body. Let it wash all through the breath. And then bring to mind a time when you truly loved. And remember what that feeling was like. This unconditional love that you felt for someone or something else. And breathe that feeling into the whole body from your toes all the way up to the top of the head. And then all the way back down. recognizing the truth in these elements that one, you are lovable, and two, you can love. And merging those two feelings together, bringing that to yourself. And I'll end with one of my favorite quotes from Mary Oliver, a poet. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Allow yourself to rest in this stillness, in the presence, in the true nature of an infinite capacity of love inside. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Namaste.